Díru Stock, Tawakon, Willem Pleasure, a shoe. It's true, I'm not going to more amagwing, con Díru Stock, laundering on the manifestos, building up creative for show. I just said it's a pity we don't have much more time in the run-up to an election because many parties have already completed or near completing their manifestos, because I believe that we're in quite a vital time in terms of Irish society because we have a crisis, everybody understands that, but we also have a major opportunity in which to refocus where we are on this island, and in particular how we change to ensure we don't repeat the mistakes of the past. And I believe, and my party believes, that one of the key steps that needs to be taken is the increased democratisation of our society. And by that, I'm not saying that we have more votes similar to the Swiss who have referenda on virtually everything, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what I believe is that there should be an increase in participatory democracy, and that means each man, woman and child have a role, and a valued role in society in trying to determine the future of our society. Because who best knows what services need to be delivered in a community? The community themselves. So we have a lot of talk about the need to rationalise the public service, to change the public service, make it more efficient. The people who best know what services are being delivered is not always those who are delivering the service, it's those who benefit from the service or who suffer the consequences of bad or good service. So I believe that that is vital. One of the outstanding issues from the Good Friday Agreement is an All-Ireland Consultative Civic Forum, and that is a mechanism that we should have established long before now, and it might have been a mechanism in which kind of the types of debate that you're going to have here today, and I want to take the opportunity at this stage to apologise, I'm going to have to leave before half 10 because I committed to something else, but also there's potential votes all day in the Dáil and the Finance Bill. But the Consultative Civic Forum would have been a mechanism to allow community and voluntary sector at a national level to try and focus and try and shape the agenda, the political agenda, but also the financial agenda in the future of Ireland. There is obviously a resource challenge. We all know, and we've seen day in, day out what that is, and there are alternatives. I'm not going to do a party political broadcast on terms of our alternative, but I do believe that there needs to be a greater recognition of the dividend that community and voluntary groups pay to society. That in fact any money invested in community and voluntary service saves the state money in the long term, and that hasn't been fully recognised over the years. In terms of specifics, because one of the questions I was asked is to focus in what would our party's strategy be and what proposals we would have to support the community and voluntary sector. One is that we need to move more and more towards multi-annual funding for any groups to try and plan for the future, especially groups who are involved in long-term projects as community groups and voluntary groups are involved in. You need to have some type of security about future funding. I know one group in my own area who liaise with the prison service, and they were being asked to produce a detailed business plan. That was without knowing what the funding for the following year is. It's bureaucracy gone mad, it's a bit bizarre, and that needs to stop. People need to have some idea what funding is coming, and then they can cater their services to that resource that is coming. The other point, and it has been mentioned in previous political contests in local elections and in general elections, is the need kind of to come up with some type of a scheme similar to the CE scheme, which values community groups, that is not just about creating employment, but that it is to support communities only, that's the primary purpose. There's a lot of work has been done on it, but I think we need a lot more, so that we reshape that CE scheme to deliver for communities, because without the vital supports that CE schemes give to community and voluntary groups, I think many groups will be struggling to deliver the level of service that they are delivering, and kind of the potential service that they can deliver, and the supports that they can deliver to their communities. In terms of other organisations, I have a great working relationship with Minister Carey, and kind of he is quite a brilliant advocate, but much of the damage to some of the framework around the community sector had been undermined before him with the attacks on the likes of combat poverty and the ending of it, the Equality Authority and the Human Rights Commission, the huge budget cuts in terms of the services they were delivering. We have to be sure in the future that such undermining of the framework which supports community groups and the voluntary section will not happen again, and that's the commitment I think I can give on behalf of my party, but it needs to be given right across the board so that everybody knows where we're coming from.
1 minute.
I could speak kind of for another hour in terms of this, but I'll try and concentrate on one or two more key points. I also believe that one of the funds which is kind of quite beneficial to the sector is the dormant accounts funds. Now, again, I think there needs to be some type of commitment exactly what scale of money is going to come out there on a multi-annual basis, and I believe that should be set at about 40 or 50 million per year. At least that the groups who benefit will have some idea what's in that pot. I believe that there should be a VAT refund scheme, a simple little mechanism for not-for-profit organisation, and that's everyone in this room. That refund scheme could save a huge amount of money for community organisations and voluntary groups without costing the state a lot of money, because in the end of the day it has to come back in some form of grant to community farm government. So I think that's a simple mechanism. It's the Minister for Finance would have to introduce it. We have argued for it in the past, and I will continue to argue. I'll leave it at that, but if there's any questions I'll be more than willing to answer, or if the group wants to send us stuff before the manifestos are complete, or even during the election, I will answer.